Hey guys, happy spring. Well, not spring for us because I live in Alaska. That's why we've got this planter inside my garage still. On this video, I'm going to show you how to make this really beautiful, modern style concrete and wood planter. These are actually concrete blocks that I have glued in place in a wood frame. The total cost of this project was under $15 for the main materials. So it's really economical and a really fun way to add just a little something different to your outdoor space and a beautiful way to add more plants and greenery to your yard. To make this planter, you'll need a few tools and materials that you can gather from your local home improvement store. You'll need to cut your 2x2s down to size. I cut mine using a compound miter saw. Then I took the 2x2 legs and I marked them the distance of the concrete block plus 1.5 inches down from the tops. And I did this on all 4 of my legs. Then I took some of the shorter 2x2s and I lined them up with those marks, clamped them to my table, and I also used glue too. Then I used 3-inch deck screws here. These are torque head self-tapping screws, so I didn't even have to pre-drill to attach the 2x2s together. Once I got one joint done, then I just moved on to the next one. It's pretty difficult to fit 2 screws into the end of the 2x2, so you'd want 2 screws, but I ended up just using 1, and then when I put the concrete block in there, it kind of squared everything up. So depending on the type of screws you use, 2 is ideal. I did 1 and it worked. So here it's starting to take shape. The nice thing about this size planter is the boards are all 16 or 24, just under those lengths, so it really fits nicely into cutting an 8-foot long board. You don't have a lot of scrap left over. If you're building this for exterior use, you'll want to use exterior wood glue and then cedar or treated for the wood. These screws are really nice. They never split the wood, but if you have screws that aren't self-tapping, you'll want to pre-drill your holes first. So then I just added a few more boards to hold the actual soil or planter pots in place. You can add as many of these as you want. Space them out as far apart or as close together as you want them to be. I just kind of guessed and eyeballed at where to put them, splitting the gaps into thirds here. Okay, so for the last one I got a little bit smarter and used gravity in my favor. I should have cut that board just a little bit longer, but I made it work. The screw will suck it all in tight. So now for the landscape adhesive, I put it on pretty liberally, and I'd never used this stuff before, so I was pretty doubtful. Make sure when you cut your boards to measure your pavers or your blocks so that there's enough space for the glue and it slides in there nice and easily. But that stuff, it really holds. I let it cure overnight by putting a ratchet strap around it and then just letting it sit for 24 hours. I decided to add a 2x2 at the bottom just to give it more of a modern flair. I really felt like it needed some sort of style element there. I'm adding 2 screws here just because it's not tied in any other way, so I felt like that was pretty important. Cool thing about this project is you could really just customize it however you want. I chose a reddish brown stain. This one is Rust-Oleum Carrington, because I felt like it would go really well with the gray concrete, but there's lots of different options, and of course you can even get the concrete blocks in a couple of different colors. One of them is more of a brown and one of them is more of a reddish brown.
Well, I'm all done with my planter, and I'm just adding some plants still in their little ugly buckets inside. But of course, you could line the inside here with landscaping cloth and then fill it with soil and just use it as is as a planter. I absolutely love how this turned out. It's so cute, and it's so easy to customize. If you used a different size block, you could easily customize it to a different shape. You could mix different types of blocks. And of course, wood is a really easy material to work with. So you could customize the frame as well. One other thing I wanted to kind of touch on is, man, that landscape adhesive, this thing is sturdy. It's also really, really heavy. So if you live in a windy area, this thing is not ever going to blow over. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do make a paver planter, please share and tag me. I would love to see how yours turns out as well and what creative ideas you have to make it your own. Thanks for watching and happy building.